Happy Sunday. I have I have been dying to share this with you since yesterday morning, but there was so much that had to be done before I could get on here and share it with you. But I just can't even tell you how excited I am over this bag. And the handles, when I shared, I had just done the round that has you coming in. I think you have to like lay your bag down, find the middle, count 10 stitches this way and 10 stitches this way, and chain over 20, chain stitch 20 and reattach. So there was some fix. So I had just gotten that part finished when I snapped that picture, and my hook was on fire. Which brings me to the point. Use this, not something that will do this. My poor thing. I'll probably slip some glue in there or some kind of monster gorilla glue, something. But she recommends a metal one if you have one. I mean, it will save you just popping that thing back and forth. So that was one tip. The other thing I thought about, I started off, some of you have said, you're not really into the bright colors, or I'm not really into dark colors, but the dark, if you can start winding your ball of fabric and start with the dark colors, because that's the base of your bag. And then you've got, if you're setting it down, which hopefully you won't set it down too very often in someplace where, but just on the floor or somewhere, it's going to gather a little bit, I guess. But that was another tip. And overall, it really was an easy make. If you can get past the base where you kind of have to keep track, and I would check off the list, like I had my pencil handy, and as I went down each of the steps, I just did a little check mark, and then I knew, and I think at one point I had skipped ahead and it wasn't sounding right. I thought I looped back around and did it again, just for good measure, and it was fine. But then once you get past that part, it's just, when you come in from a long day and you've got the TV on or you're sitting in front of the fire, it's just kind of that mindless stitching that you don't have to really put all your thoughts to. Your thoughts wander, and mine did for sure. And I thought about a rug that I had. It was a rag rug, and this reminded me of it, that we had back in 1986, I think, and I loved it. It stayed with us. I think I was telling my husband last night, I had it in my first classroom. I took it to school with me, and I had a little station next to there was a big picture window, and I had impatiens in a big white wash tub, and that rug there. So if they wanted to sit and read, or had a beanbag, I can't remember what all I had there. But this reminded me of that. It was peeling back layers of time of things. Like, what was this reminding me of? The first thing it reminded me of was those little gum wrapper chains that we all made them in the 70s. And I Googled it because I thought, is that still a thing? And apparently it is. All your gum wrappers, fold them into those little zags. The colors, it just reminded me. So it really was a joy-filling project to have on those afternoons. Now, there were some afternoons this week that were really tough, that followed tough days of, I love my job, and I love these children that I work with, these children that have all kinds of varying needs, physically, mentally, intellectually, but along with that comes a lot of sometimes heart-wrenching situations. And so I come home and I need sometimes just to stare at the wall, or just stare at a show, or just not, or just look out the window. But there's some nights that maybe there's been frustrations, and I need to just do something to kind of work it. My body's tired, but my hands need to be doing something. So this was a great project this week. And to finish it in a week with a full-time job and laundry and, you know, a 10-year-old who has, you know, her life and things going on. So you can do it. It's a great project. So what I love is that now when I want to take off with this project or carry it somewhere, I can switch out because it's going to school with me tomorrow. I can't wait. So I haven't packed it all up yet, but I wanted to show you. This was something that came. I've talked on and on about Nikki Franklin's Advent calendar. It was the first year that I was able to do one. That was my Christmas present to myself. But all these goodies kept. Every day you open up another little wrapped package. It was like Christmas for a month. This was one of those bags, and I don't have it tied up, but it ties up this really pale, soft pink. See, these are my colors. Blush and bashful, pink and linen and white and off-white. Those are my colors. So this, you see, I'm branching out. But those of you who love these colors, just know, see, it's all right because it goes with whatever we have and the fabrics. So I wanted to show you what I want to be able to carry this in there because she had a little calendar that it's photos of all of her stitchery projects. And since tomorrow is the first day of February, I can't wait. And I've got little notes and when we're off from school and we've got a day after, after Valentine's Day and just little things. I can make little notes for myself. I don't know, it might wind up hanging somewhere in my classroom. I don't know. I kind of want to have it where I can pull it out and look at it wherever I am. It's so pretty. The other thing in here, it's a little notebook. She had two notebooks, and I showed you one. One was the springboard of my hexie quilt that I'm working on now, and I'll show you that in a minute. This one, is this the one? Yes. So I get, when I'm sewing, stitching, knitting, crocheting, ideas come, and I don't have time right now to take them to fruition, but they're coming. And I followed something that Nikki mentioned one time in a post. She said she writes down, she has a little notebook that when she has ideas, she jots down the date and the idea so that she knows when it came to her, what it was supposed to be, what she wanted it to be like. And I don't want to forget these things, even though I don't have time right now to fully invest in, oh, I could do this or that, because I mean, the ideas are firing. I can jot it down, draw a little sketch, and revisit it when the time is right. And right now, the time is just not. I felt like for a while I had 2 full-time jobs, and I wasn't doing either one of them any justice. And so if you see me kind of pulling away from doing lots of stuff with my children's books, and I have one in the works, and it may take us forever. Really, old bear, she's so patient. But doing all those things, I had to I'll still fill orders, and I only keep 3 mice up on my Etsy shop. So one would be a mouse that would have a knitted shawl, one would be a mouse with her tutu and tiara, and one would be a baby mouse. And then as those sell, and list, they go out of stock, I make them, and when I'm finished and I can ship those off, then I can reactivate that listing. So that's why if you don't see them on there, I'm working on something. So I'll do what I can to keep that going, but it just won't be, full on giving that all my attention. So this little notebook has come in handy for that. Right now, what I'm doing now with, and maybe this is true for you, when I'm working with my hands, and I've said that all along, it gets ideas flowing. As a teacher with these children with special needs, it requires a lot of creativity on how can I address what their goals are in their individualized educational program, and how can I keep it entertaining and keep the children engaging that are on the Zoom call, that are virtual, because they're medically fragile and they can't come right now the way things are. And how do I where we have to social distance and we're all wearing masks. So it's taking a lot of my creative energy to think of really engaging activities and lessons for them. So that's where my energy's going. And I have a lot of, when I saw this, I sat and played with it for like days. It's a little worry bear. And that came in Nikki's advent calendar. And it's another little creation from Sue at Homespun with Love. I think that's what I've got her account. I said that right. And she did this sweetest, this little needle case that I just want to carry everywhere. And the little pin cushion. And I don't know what all else she made. They collaborated together. So it was wonderful. But there's a little pocket in this linen bag, just a little place to tuck that little worry doll in there. And I know you're supposed to put it in under your pillow at night, but I just sometimes need to get it out and just squeeze it. It has little, I don't know, little beans. I don't know what's in there, but it's, can you hear it? So that's a very tactile thing. That's sweet. So I would have those in there. And then I thought, I was practicing because I'm going to be going spring break to visit my family that just moved. I'm going to fly to them, and I wanted to be able to take my little Eliza the mouse because she has always gone on adventures with me. She was the very first of my little storybook characters, and she just, I believe, needs to go with me. And you'll know more why when it comes closer to time and I can share more. But she's tucked in here with a little quilt. If you see this little quilt in my stories, I know it's in the bedtime story, Eliza Will Not Be Afraid. I'm trying to think if it's in anything else. I got this little quilted heart in 1989. I was expecting my youngest, my Olivia, and I had a Longenberger basket party, and that was one of the treats. You could pick out something as a gift. And so it is now falling apart, but that's been Eliza's pillow. So that's in there, and her little hankersniff that I restitched in the spring. It has the verse around it. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. And so that's gonna be stuck in there. And she'll tuck right in here. So I'm just, this just like ticks all the boxes for being a creative, living in this little bit of a storybook world when I can slip away into it. It just does it for me. So, okay, so now on to the next little thing that was in the advent calendar that I've loved, and I've used it a million different ways, and you can tie that up. But I tucked in, look how the pile is growing, the little stack, I should say the stack of these little hexy flowers. So they will be for Really Old Bear's quilt. And I would love to think I'd have it in time for Valentine's Day. But then I thought, well, it's got some red and blues in there. It could be anything patriotic or, I don't know, really for anything. So, and I also have the little supply of these little clothespins in there so that I can, as I get these, as I pull together ideas for the flowers, I can clip them together with little clothespins. Oh, and I have to show you this. I took all those scraps that were left that I had left over, and I've wound them around the card that actually had the seam binding for Little Dot's quilt. I put that around the card. I love it's good hard cardboard. It's good cardboard. You save these things. So that when I want to maybe do more clothespins, you know, for school, or I don't know, I've got those little strips for that handy. What else was I going to show you? So I've been sitting down in my chair because I brought everything up to the studio so that I had quite a nest going on around my chair. So I brought these up. Oh my goodness, the time is slipping away. I'm going to get off here, and I'll post this on YouTube, and I'll post it on IGTV, and we'll do part 2 later. Thanks for watching. Bye.